Hey, the Blue Jays tie the game 1-1. Welcome back to another Ab Hump Day with the hockey coach, Coach Frenchy, directly for the beautiful country of Thailand on amazing, great Wednesday night, September 17, 2025. Here we go. One more day check. Why? Because we're getting close to the October 7th, the debut of the hockey season 2025-2026 in NHL. Hopefully, an amazing, great week, middle of the week, like Billy told me. And hopefully, you enjoyed that week. Middle of September, September, it's fun sometimes. It's the time now, like the transformation of everything, right? In live. First, the leaves. It's getting a little bit more cold. Are going to get some colors very soon, and then you have, of course, the student go back to school, and then you have many things going on in sport. The beginning of the hockey is very soon. The main camp right now in NHL, and then they have other minor league around the world start the season right now, and then you have, of course, the football back in action, NFL, and then the college football. Plus, you have right now the race of the baseball playoff. But this together, this is the time now we enjoy the most during the next couple of weeks and months. So I can wait to see what is going to develop. I want to mention to you guys, I know we build the Montreal Canadian channel here, but because the situation with the Blue Jays is looking getting hotter and hotter, possibly we do a couple of game the next couple of days. One, the Montreal Canadian will be very quiet. I'm going to do like game like play by play, not like a radio, but exchange a couple of things together here. During the time we have that kind of the action, like the Blazers. I'm just watching what happening there. Long fly, almost a home run, but it was catch at 400 feet from the home plate. Welcome, everybody. Thanks to be a part of the show. Tonight, we have a special night. Of course, every Wednesday night, our co-host, Marko Larabi, is with me. And then tonight, we try to invite and bring more people for the chat, like Jim Biringer. And he's going to be with us the next couple of minutes. So I'm going to wait a little bit to get the link. He just asked me the link for that. So let me bring to him, if you don't mind, everybody. And then we're going to be back like Marco. Gave me about 1 or 2 minutes to do that to our friend, Jim. Oh, we got this. We're going to get. Sorry about that. We need to send this to Jim. Jim need the link of the show. Here we go. We have a new subscriber, Mr. Jack Norris. Got a new subscriber of the Hockey Nation Live Show. That's great to hear that. Want to welcome everybody. The time we wait for Jim, so I can put Marco at the same time. If you don't mind, that'd be good. Butch is in the house tonight. Welcome back, Butch. Glad to see you around with PS. PS cannot be here because you have a hockey ball or ball hockey, something like that. Guy back in the house. Welcome back, Guy. RG Calabo already gave us some news and update around the NHL because we have a lot of news around the NHL today. Mr. TH back in the house talking about the New York Islanders. New York Islanders, really interesting. We'll talk about them the next couple of minutes. Then we have Roy for Bangkok is in the house tonight. Welcome back, Roy. Happy Thursday for you and me. Another squad of the Thailand. Billy knocked the door with us tonight from Nova Scotia. Billy, hopefully doing well. PLW, go with what? That night, Mookie again. Another night, back-to-back. Claude Raymond doing the play-by-play on DVS Sport tonight. Good old days, Claude Raymond. I don't know how old is he, what, 75, 80 years old? Claude Raymond. Number 16. One with Kicks, moderator of the Hockey Nation Live Show. And, of course, the Utah and the Los Angeles Kings. Kings, you win today because tomorrow you go rebuild. Coach, not sure if you saw this, but Elias elite prospect have the Islanders have the second best prospect in the league. Well, I do think they have a good poll. I don't think they are that high. I didn't read it. I saw that, but I disagree with that situation. I don't know how they did that, so I have to give to look about more like with David St. Louis. But I'm shocked to hear that situation. They have a good pool, but not at the top five at all. And when you look about the San Jose Sharks, Chicago, Montreal, right there, Anaheim Ducks, um, I don't see them there. Mark Elliott knocked the door. Welcome back. Thanks to be with us tonight. Luis Diaz. Then we have a few people. I think they are French top 10 prospect. But yeah, that makes more sense to me. Of course, Chuck Norris did not subscribe to us. We subscribe to Chuck Norris. Uh, Chuck Norris is make a lot of movies. He's still young. He still promotes some kind of gym stuff with his wife, by the way. So we have to wait for Jim. So I'm going to bring Mr. Marko. Cannot stay on this room forever. Maybe I can you here. Hold on, Marco. I'm going to get you if I can be here on that one and see if we work or not. Here we go. We're going to start right here, Marco, if you don't mind. That'd be great. Marco Rabi is in the house tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big news, Chuck Norris, coach. That's a big one. That's a big one.
Yeah,
So
sometimes
welcome
we
to
have Picky Subban. We got Picky Subban sometimes. We got many others in the chat sometimes.
Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal might be somebody that will subscribe eventually. Like all the '80s, action heroes. We want them here on Hockey Nation Live. Welcome to Habs Hump Day, everyone. Another Wednesday. As Coach was saying, like super, this is officially the last of the rookie camp was yesterday. Martin St. Louis with a excellent press conference today, which I'm sure we'll get into. And tomorrow we should start to see some lines, some players on the ice. We'll start to maybe get some revelations around what Martin St. Louis' vision is for all these players. So very exciting, Coach. Very excited to be here on a Wednesday night and right on the cusp of the 25-26 season.
Yeah, of course, we're going to have a good talking tonight, of course, in the Montreal Canadiens. Larry Lavalley knocked the door. I can show to you. It would be good if I have the subject, but I have to come back here. So it will be it's a bit plain a bit. Thanks for all the likes. But the subject, Cam, the dice already decide. And I put a dice for the Montreal Canadiens. So we see what's happening there for the Montreal. We're going to talk about this tonight, honestly. And don't forget, everybody, like Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday, we have the three amigos, Jim, Mr. Marco, and Artap with their own show with me Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. Marco, let's go on the headlines, if you don't mind. And when he pop up, we're going to put him back right here. That'd be a good thing. So the time we don't waste too much time. That'd be good. So let's start with your headlines. Headlines, and it's about how many experiencemen.
Well, yeah, Coach. Like, I guess we didn't really compare notes, right? Like, you're the topic for the show is that the dice already cast, but I'm like, hey, well, are there going to be some experiments, and how many experiments? So I referred to and I sent you this before the Martin St. Louis press conference, but it was very interesting because in the press conference, he actually said himself that he takes a little bit of some of the responsibility for what happened in the camp last year, and he admitted basically that it was kind of a problem that they didn't get as many reps as they needed to in the training camp because of holding players back and all that kind of stuff, right? So I guess the question is it's kind of a fine balance. Like, you do want to use the training camp to have some experiments, and Coach, I think we have that as a subject later, right? Like, which experiments would we like to see? And so we'll talk about specifics about which experiments, like what combinations maybe we all expect or would want Martin Saint-Louis to try. But what I wanted to talk about in the headline is there's a thin line, right? Like you want to experiment, but you don't want to kind of, go crazy either here. Like ideally, you'd like to have the last 2 exhibition games with very close to what you're going to start with game 1, right? So it's a very, very fine line. You want to try some things, but you don't want to go too experimental and then have, your full lineup only playing together for the first time in the first game, right? So I think it's fun. I have a lot of questions about what the line combinations could be. I'm very curious to see what some of the combinations are, but it's going to be up to Martin Saint-Louis to really ride that line and find the right recipe of, okay, so how long do I experiment with D pairs, with the forward lines, but then when do I lock in this lineup and really kind of get ready to go to war in game 1? So I don't know if you agree, Coach, like, that it's important to find that balance for Martin Saint-Louis.
Absolutely agree with you because, of course, Montreal Canadiens have more options like he never had before, Marko. And that's give him a chance to multiply different decisions like he never did because he could put one player. I think they have maybe 9 players could play on the top 6 right now, at least to try to get to cover up some situation. So I think this is going to happen for the Montreal Canadiens, for Martin Saint-Louis. And this is a good thing, right? We have a possibilities to have those kind of options. That will helping a long term the Montreal Canadiens for this season with Martin Saint-Louis decision. And of course, we have to talk about tonight that what kind of the decision he's going to do during the training camp. Who is going to go this position or this position? Is it winger or a center? I'm going to try to explore that tonight a little bit later in the show. We have a few people knock the door. Zeb Lacav is in the house. Bob Smith knocked the door. Guy, of course, RJ Cabo continues. Don't forget, guys, click on the likes. We have, I see Pizza. Welcome back. Luc Fortin knocked the door. So many of you are back with us. Keep continuing to sharing in that chat there. Talking about this, Marko, I did something different, but not different, but I think it's important to talk about him. Even Demidov is going to mess up the card for the upcoming season. I've been really excited all year long last year during the KHL season. I believe at that player like I never believed, like Guy Lafleur a long time ago. This kid is going to be a great hockey player in NHL. So I get the vibe. I got excited. That's the first thing. Now, people asking me about. I stopped because he pop up. Mr. Jim Biringer is in the house.
What is up? What is up?
Thank you so much. I just stay there. I'm going to talk about you live with us, but I'm going to finish my my headline. For me, that's you talk about Marko. You can have some kind of experience with your players. I think him is going to mess up with the card of Martin Saint-Louis because he's going to start on the second line like usually. That's what the projection. But right away, Marko, after 1 month, couple of weeks, he is going to mess up the decision. Martin said, can we bring him on the first line? Can we play him on unit number 1 power play? We cannot let him play only 15, 16 minutes per game. The kids he can change. He's going to be an X factor. So for me, Martin Saint-Louis will have to deal with the projection of the even Demidov for the upcoming season, quickly early in the season. Again, it's not happened what Laine took him, 6 weeks before he became the quarterback of Mike Madison, if I can recall it last season. But even Demidov, when he could be your best player, you cannot put him on the line and sit on the bench for many minutes. We have the first super chat tonight, guys. He scored the first goal of the night, Mr. Constant, directly from Ireland. I'm going to go with the mascot of the night, guys. He's going to be in the back, so I apologize for that one. But let me back the next few seconds. If I can find him and if I can find the mascot, that'd be good. That would be better. For that one, here we go. Thank Yeah, the first super chat goal of the night. This one's come from Mr. Constant. Welcome back. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. We're going to give an assist tonight to the line, the best line for the Hockey Nation. Billy and Guy are the best line on that one. So Marko going to finish the headlines with Jim, and then we can move back after on the show tonight. So what do you think about Evan Demidov and what my headlines going to talk about?
Yeah, well, hey, how's it going, JB? Nice to have you on, man.
Hey, what's going on, Marko? What's going on?
Not too much, man. So, listen, I tend to agree with you when it comes to the power play. Excuse me. That beer went down just the wrong pipe there. For the power play,
Never a good sign.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's never a good time. For the power play, I think you're right, Coach. Like, I think it's just a matter of time. I think a lot of people would argue that Montreal should actually go back to the first power play lineup that they had towards the end against the Capitals, where Demidov was on the right side on the half wall. Then you'd imagine is Laine off the first unit, is Slafkovsky off the first unit. Those are good problems to have. So I think you're right there. I'm not sure about him kind of jumping on the first line with Suzuki and Caulfield. I really believe in balance, right? Like, I think you want to kind of balance that lineup. Slafkovsky brings that size, winning pucks and everything. I think it might just, like maybe at the end of a game, like let's say they're behind by a goal, so you want to load up a line or something. So maybe situational times where they might load up that first line with Demidov, but I'm not sure it would be a good idea, to be honest, to do it. Like, I agree that, you don't want to limit his minutes. Like, if he's really purring and he's really playing well, then yeah, you don't want to limit his minutes to 16 minutes. But that just shows that Montreal needs to, be able to balance their lines. Again, I'm going to say this a lot this season. Montreal has the most back-to-back games of any other team in the NHL. So if you're planning on playing Nick Suzuki, the top line, over 20 minutes a game, they're going to burn out. So I would much rather have that offense kind of spread out a little bit. But I agree with you in theory that Demidov is going to, if he doesn't start on the first unit power play, it's not going to be long till he's there, Coach, because we saw what he could do in the playoffs. So I'm not sure I agree that he's going to be on the first line, but I guess we'll have to see.
Jim, for you, I will go to ask you a projection for Evan Demidov. Like, how many points you expect, or what you're looking for Evan Demidov for the upcoming season?
I mean, you see the irrational projections. Guys are like putting him at like 70 points. I'm like, all right, all right, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Realistically, I could see him getting 60 points. Like, realistically, I think he could do it. The way he plays, like, I agree with Marko. I think at some point he's gonna be on the first power play unit. I think that they had an effective power play against the Capitals where he was on one half wall, Caulfield's on the other side, Laine, whoever you want to put. That was a really effective power play unit. I watched all those games against Washington. And when I talked about some appearances over the summer, I thought, yeah, you know what? If they run this back like that, I think this is a good power play for them. And I think Demidov's going to get time up there. I'm not sure he's going to, start there. But if things go according to plan quickly, he will be there quicker than maybe, Hudson was last year. I think they were, I don't want to say afraid to use him right away up there, but they were like moving him along. And then when he just got on that roll, you couldn't take him off. And now you can't take him off.
Yeah, I think with St. Louis, they have an approach, I think, where they want to kind of have it in bite-sized, digestible pieces for these kids that are coming in, right? So it's a very fine line between being too conservative, like you don't want to kind of cock block the kid or anything like that. But I get the rationale where you're, let's kind of like let the kid kind of, get his bearings and everything else, right? And, you have the respect factor, right? Mike Matheson had a really strong season, 60-point season the year before. So just to kind of kick him to the curb, there's always like that internal locker room politic part, and you could say the same thing applies with Patrick Laine last year, scoring like, a ton of goals on the power play when Montreal really needed him last year. So there's no question it's going to be a tantalizing weapon that St. Louis is going to find very hard to resist. As soon as the power play starts puttering it a little bit, you have Demidov that's just going to be right there if he doesn't start right away. So we'll see.
You're absolutely right about that. Thanks, everybody, to be a part of the show. We have a few people knock the door. Frank, Big Steve, and someone else.
Big Steve.
Big
Big
Steve's in
Steve.
the house. I love it.
By the way,
Sounds
I
like a
want to
South
thank
Park
a
character.
few of you. A few of you joined me live last night at the Cat and Rats podcast. Example like N26, Triple W, maybe Billy Guy, then a few more. So just thanks all of you to be there. They want to let you know, guys. Thanks also to be joined me last night. So I just want to sharing the message also for those people. So thanks everybody. We appreciate that. Don't forget everybody to click on the likes. We're going to do a tour of the NHL very quickly. We have a lot of news around the NHL, and then we're going to move back for the Montreal Canadiens. So that's happening here in NHL around the league right here. And now I'm losing the NHL. Is it here?
Oh, by the way, I just want to say, guys, if you see anything come up on your Twitter feed about this kid, Jack Beck, signing with Arizona State in college, it's fake news. He's not allowed to do it. According to the NCAA bylaws, unless they cited something like NIL, if you sign a professional contract, you're not allowed to play college hockey or any college sport. According to the NCAA, you are not allowed to do that. So a kid who's played in the ECHL and AHL is not allowed to go back to play college hockey. He cannot get a scholarship. He can't do anything. They consider you a pro athlete. So I know that's been going around. Like I've seen some insiders, some people that have covered the game. I'm checking in on this. I've talked to people I know that were in NCAA college athletics. Even I know the rule. You cannot go back and play.
I don't follow NCAA, but
it's
clear,
just
right?
something I know because it's pretty clear that because if you notice, like take for example, Carl Caulfield with Montreal Canadiens, he went back to Wisconsin and played. If he had signed his ELC out of being drafted, he's not allowed to go play college hockey.
No, he can go back to the school, but he cannot play hockey.
Right, he cannot play sport because if he signed his ELC and played 9 games, like you can't do that.
Yeah.
Now, me personally, with NIL and all this stuff, like I kind of see that could be trending in a direction where that should be allowable. Like you should be able to sign your ELC and go play in college, and it's just waiting for you. But I understand why the rule is in place.
The only thing I would say, Jim, because I've been with NCAA a lot of time with our coach Junior, I would say to you, a kid like that, you're never going to make it. Like he played a couple of games in East Coast Hockey League, if I can follow up him a little bit. I would say, you know what? If you want to play Division 3, just go. Like play like a Division 3 with Colorado and Colorado State example or Fort Collins, everything like that. Who cares? Like Division 3, let him play hockey, have a good time, but not on Division 1. I think that would be not.
You can't go play Division 1. Yeah, you can't do that.
So that's my point behind that. So that would be just the difference between the people right now for what's going on. So I'm going to move on with the NHL. Great to sharing with us that news. I pick it up also, me too, on the Twitter a little bit early. The St. Louis Blues signed Nathan Walker a 2-year deal at $887K. Jim, what Walker bring to the Blues?
I mean, he's a good player. I've seen him play a little bit. I mean, he's a nice depth piece. It's a nice signing for them. Big physical player. I've liked him in the NHL. I've really, he's bounced around a little bit, but he's a good player. I like what he brings for St. Louis. Especially, he's a Jim Montgomery player, right? We look for those type of players. We always say, Bruce Cassidy type player. He's a Jim Montgomery type player. He fits that mold.
Australian too. What's not to like, right?
Yeah,
not too many Australians
exactly.
in the league.
No, not too many.
Marko, we have a Calgary Flame signed the captain Marko Backlund 2-year deal. I think he's what, 34, 35? Could be more 35 now.
30. Yeah, 35 right now.
Yeah,
35. Yeah. Like, listen, like Calgary's in an interesting position, right? Like you have some guys with one foot out the door, and so it's important for some. I think for the culture and for everything. Like when your captain wants to stay, obviously Backlund, he's been pretty vocal that he wanted to end his career as a Flame. So I think it's great. Like, it's great for their culture. They're in this kind of tweener stage, like you don't know what to make with Calgary, but I think this is good news. Like, obviously, Conroy needs to kind of figure out kind of where he's going with this thing, with Anderson in particular. I think everybody, it's like the worst kept secret in the NHL that he wants to play for Vegas. So, good for them. Michael Backlund's a really dependable, kind of, even though he's a little bit long in the tooth here, I think he's still pretty valuable piece, anchoring that third line for the Calgary Flames. Really good character guy, good two-way player. So good for them. Really nice number too, at 3.25. You're not hurt by that at all. Even if, I've talked about this on the show before, guys. Like, if I was a GM, my philosophy about signing guys that are over 30 years old, it's all about skating, right? Like, the worst thing that you can get is, because the hands are usually the last thing to go, but it's the wheels that fall off, right? So with a guy like Backlund, he still moves around really well around the ice, so he can play an effective role for you, even if it's just on the PK. So, that's Marko's stamp of approval. If the guy can still skate, I have no problem with you. Like you say, Mike Matheson, right? Like, if Montreal's going to re-sign Mike Matheson, I'm a little less concerned about a long deal for Mike Matheson because he's an amazing skater, and he's not, the wheels are not just going to fall off, like, so Michael Backlund.
Some guys, they just fall off.
Yeah.
Like, really fall off. I like Backlund. Backlund's a great player. Like, he's setting the culture for that team. I mean, a lot of guys are re-signing, re-upping there in Calgary. I mean, I know a lot of people point to the logjam at center there, but 2-year deal, it's not going to affect them down the road with guys like Kadri there. It's not going to matter. Kadri's not going anywhere right now, and Backlund's there, good captain for that team, just setting the tone, and you're going to see more and more guys, I think, stay in Calgary now.
As long as
the Pittsburgh Penguins sign. Go ahead, Marco.
I was going to say, Coach, as long as he doesn't continue to break news in press conferences, because we did know that he, on the European tour, he's the one that told the press that he expected that Anderson was going to be gone by the end of the season. So, that's the only.
That's the only blemish on. That's the only blemish on Michael Backlund right now.
We want to welcome back Rick Bengal is in the house. Rick, welcome back, my friend. Hopefully doing well with your beautiful wife from the Maritimes. And then GF Dubré back in the house tonight. Welcome back, GF. Hopefully you're doing well. And Constant go to the bed after he scored the first goal of the night. He will be back Friday. Constant is right now going to sleep over the next 4 hours. So we understand that. We understand, and we wish you a dream about the Montreal Canadiens. Pittsburgh signed Robbie Fabry to the PDO. Jim Fabry, Mr. Journeyman now in NHL, traveling a lot since he left the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, he is. I mean, look, they need some veteran players in there, right? He could still score. I mean, that was his big thing in Detroit, but again, Marko said it, like the skating and everything from Fabry, it not just hasn't been impressed by him. Like, he's jumped around. He's only got 1-year deals. And now, like, he couldn't even get a 1-year league minimum deal from a team. He has to get a PTO. And there were teams with cap space out there that could have signed him, and they didn't even want to take a flyer on him. Now, maybe they will after he sees the PTO. I mean, we saw it last year. New Jersey had somebody had a PTO with them, and they jumped over to Columbus. And I think that player just got one with Carolina. They were looking to bring him in. But again, Fabry's a good player. Will they help? Maybe if he gets on, maybe he can raise his draft stock and get traded to a team that could use him down the stretch and use a depth forward come the playoffs. I mean, he's still a good player, but again, when your skill diminishes, this is what happens.
I think you're right about that. It's all about health, right? Like, the guy just can't stay healthy, right? Like, he's on average, I have it in front of me, but he misses 45 games a year on average, this guy. So it's hard to kind of pencil him into your top 6, but he does have top 6 upside, when he's not injured. So Pittsburgh, like you said, they need bodies. They need guys in the sweaters. So good low risk pick for them.
Welcome back, A2. Thanks to be with us. Of course, Rick, we love, of course, Demidov. Thanks, sir, for a kind of word. Now go to go Rapido with a couple injuries around the NHL. Florida, Tkachuk, Nosek, a couple of months. Buffalo, Greenway, Talk, UPL, days to the week. Pittsburgh, Asherry, McCordy. And then we have Tampa. Paul is out until November. Couple of hit right there. So, Jim, pick up a couple of players right there. Just let me know about the Florida Panthers. The fact they're going to lose Tkachuk and Nosek is going to change something or not.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think they have the cap space right now to figure out, like, they can get by without Tkachuk and Nosek, but they signed all these guys to 1-year deals, and I think everybody's circling and looking at Evan Rodriguez and when he's going to get traded, despite Florida saying, like, hey, we like him, we want to keep him. Well, I have an expression that I started to use. When the math doesn't math, is it math? And, like, the math don't add up to me. Like, I'm a numbers guy, and you're telling me, okay, well, we know only 3.8 of Tkachuk, or whatever percentage they're going to put on LTIR. Well, if Nosek's out, where's he going to go? Like, and then when they come back, who's coming out of this lineup? Who's getting traded? Like, Florida has a lot of cap decisions to make now with these guys, like, out of the lineup. Yeah, they can get by with it right now, but there's a lot of guys signed to 1-year deals, league minimums, but the rules have changed in their favor. What is surprising to see to me is all these off-season training injuries. Like, what are these guys doing in the gym and on the ice to get hurt before training camp? Unless they had nagging injuries from the end of last season that didn't get taken care of till the middle of the summer, what are you doing in your training that you're injured going into training camp?
Yeah, I think with Paul, it did come out that it is something that he's been kind of nursing since last year. But yeah, it's something we are seeing. One that you don't have on here, Coach, is Max Domi is also out day to day. Same thing. He tweaked something, like, so. I don't think it's new, like you have, like, I think it's definitely less bad from the days where, they're drinking like a case of beer on the ice and having a butt before, like, so I think these guys, again, their level of like readiness and professionalism is like nowhere like, where it used to be, right? Like, it's incredible kind of the shape that they come into. So maybe that explains it, Jim. Like, training camp really starts like 6 weeks after the season ends, and it's like pretty much just continuous training, right? So it's not shocking that there would be some injuries. I think, if they didn't have that, then you're always going to see lots of pull groins and stuff like that in the first couple weeks because, the body is just kind of tuning up. So I don't think there's anything like a pattern here that's troubling.
I don't know. That biggest head scratcher to me is from coming out of this, because he was on the European media tour, was UPL. Like, Lukin had met with the media there, and everybody said he was fine. So if he tweaked it when he got back, that's an issue. So, and I think Blackwood's out a little bit for Colorado. Like, there's a lot of, like, I remember a couple of years ago, Travis Zajac, before he retired, before he got traded to the Islanders, he had a torn bicep, like, before training camp. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you lifting? So what are you doing in the gym?
Yeah. So, but again, things are going to happen in the gym. Where I would have a huge issue, JB, is like last year we had Harvey Pinard broke his arm or some shit playing baseball. Like, so, and like, so if you're going to have injuries playing other sports and, like
doing
there's, if you're like
stuff like the Hughes brothers did last year.
Yeah. If you're wakeboarding, and like, so
yes.
As a fan and as an organization, that's where I would be pissed, like if they're acting irresponsibly. But stuff's gonna happen. Like if you're training hard, stuff's gonna happen. So I think that's normal. But that's where I would be pissed, man. Like, I broke my arm go karting while I was like in one. Like then I would be pretty pissed.
Yeah, I would be mad.
Great point. Want to welcome a few people here. Julien, welcome back. We have not Jeb, but we have Maurice. Welcome back. We'll go to answer to your question, Maurice, the next couple of minutes. Just listen, Martin Saint-Louis, and Marko is going to resume a little bit what happened with Martin Saint-Louis today. So stay tuned, Maurice, if you don't mind. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget, please click on the like. And the Jays just strike out the guy with 2 men on the base. So great performance of Gassman, like PLW said. We have other injury around. Toronto, Max Domi, day to day. Edvinson, Detroit, 7 weeks, and this not looking good. Colorado, guys, Blackwood is going to miss the beginning of the season. Girard, weeks to week. O'Connor, minimum November. Before the return, maybe December. 3 different team, 2 of them really good team. And Jim, which one of them pick you up most for you?
I mean, I think it's Edmondson for Detroit. I mean, he's supposed to be coming along on the back end with Seider. Like, that's a huge loss for the Detroit Red Wings. I'm sorry. Like, to me, like, look, I might be a little bit critical of Mackenzie Blackwood because I still don't think Colorado's goaltending is good enough to win them a Stanley Cup. Like, they really have to play great defense like they did when Kemper was between the pipes to win this thing, and I still don't think they're deep enough, even with the changes that they made. But to me, Edmondson, he was supposed to have his coming out party this year for the Detroit Red Wings. Like, him and Seider are the anchors back there for this team. To lose him for several weeks is a big deal.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, for already very thin Detroit decor, we'll see kind of what happens with Sandin Pellikka out of training camp here. But yeah, he's a really critical piece for them. So Jim, hey, if Colorado doesn't like their goaltending, they can do like last year, just trade all your goaltenders and just flip the whole.
Blackwood signed for the next couple years, more than that. I think he just got like a 5-year deal.
Yeah, no, but I still find it crazy that like the turnover in Colorado's roster last year, like I don't think we've ever seen a team trade both their starting goaltenders. So. I think they definitely address it. It's way like, it's not having Gorgiev anymore, as your main guy. So I think they're in a better position for their goaltending. But yeah, that doesn't help. Girard, like I still can't believe that guy got broken in half, literally, like a couple years ago. So I'm still even surprised that he can play hockey after he literally got broken in half on that huge hit. But I'm with you, man. Like Edmondson, that's going to be a really tough one. What is going on in Detroit, guys? I still don't understand what's happening there.
I mean, Steve Yzerman just continues to think that his job's not on the line because it probably isn't, but it should be. I know he's done well with his drafting and developing of players, and I think the thing is with me for Axel Sandio-Panica, I just think they want him to be in the AHL this year to adapt to North America and play there. But they may not have a choice. He may step up and say, "Hey, you know what? This is my spot now." And Detroit needs to make the playoffs. If they don't make the playoffs, the smoke and the outside noise is already loud, and even the inside noise from some of the media there is already loud. It's going to get louder if they don't make the playoffs. I understand rebuilds take time, but at some point this team has to make the playoffs.
Fire their pro scouting staff is terrible.
Yeah. Let's move on. Next thing, guys, it will be very quickly. This is note to Alex Formenton. The Ottawa Center announced they're not going to keep him with the team. So he's going to be UFA, maybe waive or whatever, or unconditional, whatever they are. And then finally, Oliver Wanstrom, pick from the New York Canadiens, I believe, going to go on the PTO with the San Jose Sharks. So that's what we got all the news around the NHL. It's time now for everybody to talk about the Montreal Canadiens and, of course, talking about what happening at the number 1. Until then, here we go. Here we go. We are back on the section of the Montreal Canadiens. The big thing happening is the day number 1 of the main camp for the Montreal Canadiens. And they have a couple of things happening. The fitness of the day. During that day number 1, like everybody have to be ready for the upcoming season. And the bike got a little bit some damage, Marko, honestly. And we have Martin, so we talk about what happening for the Montreal. I tried to pick it up, my graphic for that one. I cannot pick it up. Where is this one? But it's no big deal. Martin, so we talk about it's fun things. Marko going to give you a little bit more a resume. Then I'm going to jump in on the next thing, Marko, if you don't mind. Yeah. I got it. I think I got it. Here we go. So,
There you go. So
just quick before that, 60 players participate, 34 forward, 19 defensemen, and 7 goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens. Martin St. Louis press conference. So here you go, Marco. That will maybe helping also Maurice Robillard his question.
sorry, did you want me to answer Maurice's question first? I didn't see what it was.
Okay, now just go with the Martin St. Louis segment. We have a super chat. We're going to go live on that one.
Oh my God!
Number 2. Second goal of the game. This time it goes by Rick Robitaille. A goal on that one. Going to give a goal and assist to Rick Bengal to stay with the Rick and Rick, honestly. Because we have any other Rick, we're going to get only one assist, Marco.
Oh,
Nice.
You know what I mean?
nice.
Very nice.
Only one assist. Only one friend on the back end.
Why about
I like it.
Dimitra, the wife of Rick Bengal, get a little pass to Rick, and then Rick pass to Rick, and Rick shot the puck, top net, top shell. Here we go, Marco.
Nice. Yeah. So for Martin St. Louis' press conference, I honestly, I was like usual. I'm always pretty impressed with how Marty comes out and addresses the fans. But for this one, there's a lot of things that I really, really liked about the press conference and have me really encouraged about kind of going to the training camp. Probably the biggest thing is the mindset coach. Basically the main takeaway is that Martin St. Louis says shinny time is over. We're super excited that the guys have been around, working with the skills coaches. That's nice. That was fun. But I think what has to happen now, starting tomorrow, shinny hockey is over, folks. It's going to start now. Decisions you make with the puck through the neutral zone have got to start now. How your alarm goes off from offense to defense, got to start now. The way we play in our D zone, got to start now. It starts with the individual. There's got to be urgency. It's now, trust me, I've experienced many training camps. So basically he's saying that, it's not like, the way that he views it, it's not like you're starting from scratch here. He expects that the guys are going to basically continue from where they left off. They're not rebuilding from scratch. They're building from where they left off. So, my biggest fear going into the season is that, a young team like this is going to read a lot of their press. Jim, I'm sure you've noticed this too. Like, you're on a whole bunch of different podcasts and you read all kinds of stuff all over the NHL. Montreal's kind of the it team right now, right? Like they're kind of like the it girl. Everybody's like, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch. So that's a little bit dangerous when you have a young team. You start kind of falling in love with your own press. And so that was my concern here is like, it's going to be as hard or even harder for them to do what they did last year. They're younger than they are last year. So listen, I'm as excited as anybody else, but my concern is that mindset, they have to kind of have a much better start. So I love that Martin St. Louis is addressing this directly with the team and really kind of impressing upon them that, this is, we have to pick up from where we left off last year. And the other main takeaway from me, Coach and Jim, like we were all over this last year. And a lot of the kind of theories of the case that we had have turned out to be true about the training camp. Like, it was kind of like a bit of radio silence behind the scenes as to what went wrong with Montreal's training camp. But we talked about it here on the show. Like really, there was too much tinkering. The systems were a little bit too complicated. The coaching staff kind of tried to bring a little too much to a really young team, and they were just confused. And in the training camp, I don't know if you saw those games, Jim, but there was like these really physical games. Like Laine, got injured. Jack Eye was going crazy with the Senators, and the Senators, they were dressing up like a whole bunch of goons. So, the coaching staff decided, what, let's not actually even dress our lineup for the last 2 games. And that set a terrible tone. Like, we were talking in our headlines, Jim, that, when you have a training camp, it's so critical to, maybe the last 2 games, have your full lineup. Like it's good to experiment, but you need to kind of really lock things down. So listen, long story short, I love the mindset that Martin Saint-Louis has. And hearing, the interviews from the golf tournament, you can see a lot of his messaging is already filtering through the players' answers, right? So he's such a good communicator. So yeah, I'm hyped. The only thing, so all good. The only thing that I'm a little bit that I didn't like, he did mention that Nick Suzuki is probably going to have to do a lot more PK this year, and we talked about that here. That I'm not a huge fan of that. Like I don't like that he's going to have more D zone starts. Like they lost Dvorak, so they have this issue, especially with left-handed centers. So, I don't love the fact that they're going to have Suzuki killing more penalties. I'd really like to have Suzuki still be around under 20 minutes a game, like I said, with all the back-to-backs and everything. So that's the only thing that I didn't love hearing from Saint Louis, is that he's anticipating he's going to have to use Suzuki more on the PK. But other than that, love everything I heard today.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to add, Mr. Jim?
No, I mean, I think Marko hit it right on the nail on the head. It's kind of like similar, like he talks about the IT team, right? And that's all I heard this summer, and all I was asked about Montreal. What are the expectations this year? And I said, well, realistically, we've talked about it on the show too. Slavkovsky's extension kicks in. Gouli's extension kicks in. Like, this was the year, if you're looking at the rebuild plan and the process into the next phase, this was the year they're supposed to make the playoffs. Like, last year, play meaningful games, understand what it means to get there, and then get there. Well, they got there. Now you got to get back there. And there is expectations to make the playoffs. There's expectations on this team. You have to keep the outside noise outside. Like, the rat poison can't get in, as Nick Saban likes to say. Can't read your own headlines. Like, it is. No, but he's right. Like, he's a college football coach. He doesn't want his players reading his own press. He calls it the rat poison. Because if their ego starts to get too big, we don't got to play this way. I like the way Martin St. Louis is setting the tone. He understands that the expectations are high coming into the season. You see that from New Jersey as well. Nico Hischier saying the same thing. This is what Montreal is setting a standard now. Okay, guys, no more fun times over. Like, us being bad, it's over. Like, we're no more shinny hockey, no more fooling around, none of that. Time to get to serious business, because we got to get back to Stanley Cup playoffs, because it's go time now.
Love it. Point here. A lot of people in the show were coming with it. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. We appreciate that. Standerman, welcome back. He asks you, Marko, will Anderson, Balzic, Newhook, Evans be the PK forward?
Yeah, so that's the other thing. He did mention that Newhook is an option. To me, he's like, and Martin Saint Louis did talk about that too. Like, he loves giving players roles, and I think that's critical, right? Like, I think that's where teams like the Leafs and the Oilers have failed in the past. Is you almost have like two teams, right? Like, you have guys playing like 26 minutes a game, and then you have other guys that they're like, what do I do on this team? Like, what's my job? Yeah, that scene in Office Space, JB, they're like, what do you do here? Like, that kind of thing, like,
yeah, I love that. Identity. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you need an identity. So I think for me, Newhook, that's a perfect job for him. Like, Saint Louis put so much emphasis with him last year on his skating is elite. Like, I would place him in the top 5 percentile in terms of skaters in the NHL. So last year was all about convincing him to use his feet to pressure the puck, not just offensively, but defensively. So to me, that's kind of like the next logical use case for his skill set, is to go do that. So to me, he's got to be there. The big question, though, is who's the second centerman on your PK? Like, who's the centerman on the second PK unit? And like I was saying, I don't love that it's Nick Suzuki. Again, so if you're killing 5-on-3, and I'm not saying he can't do any PK, and I did see a comment from PLW saying that if Suzuki wants to do it, so if you really want to be considered for a Selke candidate, I get that, PLW. And, maybe once Montreal, if they did have that true second line center, then I'd be cool with him really kind of getting those more of those PK minutes. But right now they rely so much on that first line for offense that until it's proven to me that they have that 1-2 punch. I'm a little fearful of how it will impact his offensive production and how that's going to impact the overall success of the team. But I'm with you, PLW. Like it's not that he can't play PK. I think he'd be a brilliant PK player. It's just that with where they're at right now, unless Kirby Dach can really come in and step in and kind of do that, and we're going to talk about that, I'm sure, later. But yeah, so listen, like I think it's important. I think all the guys that you mentioned there will be on the PK, but I'd like Newhook to have that role for sure.
Welcome back.
100%.
Sorry, Jim. Welcome back, Mr. Henry. And let us know, Henry, if you return to the fantasy hockey or not. That's one thing I would like to hear from you tonight. If you don't mind, that'd be great. You can ask a question, but we want to confirm Gary Cornoyer is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Frank, what did goalie look like to Marko and Jim for at rookie camp? Rookie. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. What did goalies look like to Marko and Jim for the at rookie camp?
Oh, okay. So you want our assessment
of
the
rookie games? Yeah, the rookie games. Yeah, I mean, I saw the one because I was able to get the feed down here. They were throwing it on. I only got the first one. I only got the chance to see the first game where Demidov broke that kid's ankles. Like legitimately broke his ankles.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the goalies played well. It's a rookie game, right? Like, and this is the one thing I want to temper about expectations because this goes back to Martin St. Louis' point. People were asking me, "Oh, look at all these prospects in these development games." I'm like, yeah, the guys who have NHL experience should look like they'd be dominating these guys. Like that's what they should be doing. There would be a problem if guys played in the league and went into these games and didn't play well. Like there would be a serious problem. That's why Demidov looks so well. Like all the guys that were dressed that had NHL games looked really good.
Well, I don't know, Jim. So that the discourse down here, there, I think there are some of those guys. Like you look at Owen Beck, I think, and is probably the one that you could maybe say that you would have liked to seen him jump out
a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. Like Demidov,
but I'm saying, but like Demidov, like Coach's pick that he had, I think last week when he was talking about maybe on the weekend. No, it was a couple weeks ago. Coach put up Florian Jack guy. That kid looked like he's like, all right, I'm ready to take on a role in the NHL this year. Like he played really well. I think the goalies played well. I mean, look, it's hard to judge these goalies in these rookie games because the pace is so different and they're playing against their peers. I thought they played fine. Like if I'm assessing it. But again, it's so hard because there was so much going on. I didn't get the chance to, I'm being honest, I didn't get a chance to watch all these games that happened.
Yeah. It was fun though. Like it was cool to have all those different streams. It was hard to, but yeah, I watched a whole bunch of different prospect tournaments, not just the Habs, and it was a lot of fun. It's cool that they make them available on YouTube for sure, or on the team sites. But to just answer, like, Fowler looked pretty good. He played 2 games. He played in both games, like half the game in both games. And he looked pretty good. Like he didn't allow a goal in the first game, did allow 2 goals. There's maybe 1 goal that he'd like to have back. But overall, I think he looked really good. And there's the other guy, Coach. I think I've committed that I'm not going to learn how to pronounce his name because I don't think he's ever going to play in the NHL. So I'm not committing the brain power to learn how to pronounce his name. It starts with a V.
Vic Vanex.
Sure, there you go, that guy. So
that guy.
He was okay. And then Radkoff, I think it's Radkoff. There's some news around him. Radkoff, yeah. So I don't know, Coach. Are we talking about that news with him today? What we learned about him today?
Well, we did not talk about because we're not there yet. But you can. Yeah. You can.
Okay, so since we're talking about the Habs rookie goaltending situation, some news there with Radkoff. So everybody was pretty excited because he was going to have the ability to play in the NCAA next year and play, in the CHL this year. But it looks like he's a Belarusian guy. And unfortunately, it looks like we might have, I think it was Fedotov that had this issue with the Flyers where all of a sudden his military service became kind of an issue. And that's a huge wild card, right? Like, because it can be anywhere from a couple months to like a whole year where you're just like gone, just doing military service. So really a bad break for the kid. Like he's a third round draft pick. I think they had a lot of hopes for him, and his development path was looking really good. But yikes, what a wrench in the works there! Like suddenly have to do a mandatory military service for Belarus. Yikes! So not great
Yeah.
news there for
It's possible for what we heard for the agent today. It's possible that he returned over there to be sure. Impossible he signed some paperwork. It could be fine if come back. So we wish the best for him. For sure. I want to clarify a couple of things here in the chat and everybody. It's about one question. Claude Richard, welcome back. Thanks to be with us, and I appreciate a lot. First of all, they have a discussion about the PK for Montreal Canadiens, Nick Suzuki and Matthews, Barkov, everything. The best players should be on the first. Here's what is really important, and that will help in the Montreal Canadiens. I believe it will be better. It's a strategy for the coaches. When you use Austin Matthews or Barkov the first 45-second minute of the PK. So after that, you use your second wave of the unit number 2 on your PK. Then the the penalty player come back on the ice, go to the bench, and now you can set your first line return on the ice on that side, because usually your power play is your first line, and then you go again the third line, fourth line. It's strategically that's what's happening. Now, if Montreal use Nick Suzuki on the second line, on the second unit of the PK, now they cannot return with Caulfield, Sakowski, Suzuki. It just come back on the ice. So this is what the difference between if Nick Suzuki cannot be on the unit number 1, they use Jake Evans. But now you have to respond his third line, or you have to respond his second line to come back again, maybe the third or the fourth line for the opponent team. So if Nick Suzuki can be on the top on the first layer, or he does not play on the PK, but now you have a better chance to respond with Caulfield, Suzuki, and Sakowski to get a better chance to score. And that's just strategically.
Yeah. And Coach, I'm seeing some more of the comments here. Like, listen, last year, I'd like them to do exactly what they did last year. Suzuki did do some PK, but he was usually kind of the third center that would be out. So, or if it was a 5-on-3, then normally he would get out there as well. So I'm with you, so you don't have that strategic advantage to put out your first line because he just finished killing. And then I'm seeing, kind of people saying, well, how can he be considered an elite center if he's not playing over 22, 23 minutes a game? Well, like I said before, it's a philosophical question. You can agree or disagree with it. I like teams that balance the ice time. I don't think that, especially with long regular season, all these back-to-backs, I just think it would be smarter for Montreal over the long term to kind of spread out the ice time a little bit here, not wear down that first line, and Suzuki in particular. There's a reason that he's never missed a game, knock on wood, I want to jinx it, never missed a game in his career, because he's smart with how he manages his ice time and his body and everything else, right? Yeah, JB, use all the voodoo you can. I definitely shouldn't have said that.
Voodoo magic, baby. Voodoo magic. No, look, I agree with you, but I think if they're in a bind, they may go power kill. Like they may try to put Suzuki out there on a power kill. Like they like to use that. Like that's the new term going around because Matthews and Marner were out there when they were together on that power kill unit. Look, Nico Hischier does it in New Jersey. Like he plays PK. Like he takes on a big role, right? That's why his numbers are what his numbers are, right? But yeah, I think he has the ability to play PK, but I agree. But the reason Nico can play PK is they have other centers that can.
They got
Jack, Dawson
right?
Mercer play. Yeah, but they got Dawson Mercer that could play PK too. So they have other guys to do it.
What I mean, JB, is that so if let's say Hischier didn't have Jack, and he's getting less O-zone starts because he's getting more D-zone starts, and his offensive production is going to suffer because of that. But it's cool because they have Jack. Montreal doesn't have a Jack. Right. They don't have that, and that was my first comment. Right? Is if Montreal had a legitimate, established second line center that is going to for sure get you at least 50, 55, 60 points, then I'm cool with it, man. Like make Suzuki like the ultimate Selke template and play him all situations and all that. But the way that Montreal's constructed right now, they rely way too much on that first line to carry their offense, right? So until that's fixed, I'm just a little concerned that they're going to wear that line down, and they're going to take away some of the offensive production. So the 90 points that Suzuki got last year, if he has all these D zone starts and is killing penalties and all that, like I predicted, like JB, we had that debate on here. You're saying, hey, Suzuki keeps going up and up and up. I'm like, well, don't be surprised if he goes down a bit this year, because exactly what we're talking about right now.
PK time. So yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, look, I think he's going to be a good player no matter how they use him.
Yeah.
But they gotta, but they have to spread out the guys on a PK, because you don't want to wear down your top guys too much, because they may not have a lot left come that. And I know there's a break, and I get the Olympic break, and I get all this stuff, but they got to be able to recover and play. And again, all these back-to-backs, again, this is what matters. Like, you got to conserve your body.
Yeah.
The next one is Dach is a number 2 center confirmed, and unfortunately for the Jays, they're losing out 2-1.
Oh, that's too bad for the Jays. That's all right.
The Jays, look, they're the comeback team of the year, though, right? So you can never count them out.
Yeah, the comeback kids. Look, I'll say this. I've talked to a lot of people recently about this, and this was my number 1 question and my biggest question last year for the Montreal Canadiens. It's the same thing again this year. I tweeted it out the other day. The health of Kirby Dach is the most important question for the Montreal Canadiens, because if he can stay healthy, there have been signs he can be a 2C for this team, and is clicked with guys on that line. If he can stay healthy and truly be a 2C, they don't have to go get one. But if he can't stay healthy, I mean, you could still go get a center. You know what I'm saying, though. You always add to your team. But what I'm saying is, he's proven that he could be a 2C in this league if he stays healthy. There is evidence to this, the way he's played games.
For sure. Like,
you can always add to your team.
Yeah, the only concern with their center line is, again, they don't have any left-hand shots, right? Like, Dach is a right shot, Suzuki's a right shot, Evans is a right shot. So you'd like that diversity. You know how critical it is for coaches as a tactic, so it's massive, right? So, and we need to define what is success for Kirby Dach. Like, what is the expectation? Like I said, for we know Demidov is going to be the one that's driving that line. Right. So that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of lines in the NHL that are driven by a winger, whether it's Panarin, whether it's Kaprizov, all Russian guys. Patrick Kane used to drive a line. Kaneoff, he's not Russian, but we can try to flip it that way just to make my point. But what do we need Kirby Dach to be here? Again, I think 50 points minimum, I think is where you're looking at. If he can get you 50 to 60 points and can be really counted on both sides of the ice, like I was saying before, I'm not a huge fan of putting Demidov on that line with Suzuki and Caulfield, because Slav has a role. He's the puck retriever in that, he's the guy that's going to get the puck and dig it out. I think Dach can be that guy for whether it's Budzik or Laine, whoever they decide to put up there with Demidov and Dach. I think Dach, that's one of his underrated superpowers, Jim. When he was healthy, he's a great playmaker, but he was if you saw Kirby Dach go in the corner for a 50-50 puck battle, when he was playing well, you could go at least put money down and be 80% chance that Kirby comes out with that puck. That was his super skill. Is he's really good at winning those puck battles, using his body, protecting the puck down low, keeping plays alive. That's the kind of guy that Demidov, I think, you need the kind of ability to do give and go plays and have good vision and all that to stay with Demidov, to be in the same universe as him. But he's going to need somebody to go and get the puck for him, and Dach can definitely do that. So it's just the face-offs, the health, and again, just being able to be not Nick Suzuki level, kind of responsible defensively,
not
but
yet.
If you can be, but if he can get close to that, if he can really tune in his game, be a good two-way guy, get you 50 to 60 points, Montreal is going to be perfectly fine. But they will still need to get a left-handed center other than
left-handed
Veleno.
shot. And by the way, I saw somebody, I think it was Real Deal Prime in the chats, McLeod. No, none of those guys are playing in Canada. Let's get this out of the way, right now. Like, none of those guys are playing for any Canadian team. Like,
First,
none of them are.
we want to thank RJ with the news. The Chicago Blackhawks has signed Wyatt Kessler for a 2-year deal at 1.7.
That's good.
Interesting
That's a
about
great
that.
deal.
I thought it was a little bit 1.5, but we can talk about this a bit later on my article of the hockey. I want to consider with that conversation. You know what? For me, I see this a little bit different. It's not about the number of the point because Dach for me is going to be 40, 45 points. That'll be happy for me. That's pretty much what I'm looking for. For me, it's about first to be healthy. That's the first thing. But secondly, to carry on that second line with him. Not to be the best player, but to make this, the second line, get more positive at the end of the day, to be a good duo or chemistry with Laine and Demidov, or that Dach with Demidov and plus whatever is going to be there. I think that would be a great, a better way. I see Demidov, Dach, Marko at 55. I don't see Dach his best career one single year, or maybe 50 point one day. I see more a guy with 40, 45. Get your 45, 47 face off. Be bigger and better on the defensive zone coverage. Don't be at minus 20, whatever it is, to maybe better. But to carry on that line to support the first line. This is what I want for Kirby Dach. No more opinion about this. And before you answer, we have to get there.
Oh my God!
Thank you. I did it again, Mr. Frank Santoro. $9.99 at the Hockey Nation Live Show. This time, we're going to get an assist to Mr. Bob Smith and Mr. N26 got an assist on that goal of the Frank, the third goal of the game. Following before that, of course, Constant was another goal for the Montreal Canadiens, Habs Nation. And of course, Rick Robitaille did it. So Marko, apologize, but there we go.
No, it's good. I think we covered it all with Dach, coach. Like, I think you're right. Like, anywhere like at the range, like 45 to 55 points. Like, again, we don't need him to be like a point per game player on your second line. Like, I think Demidov is going to drive that line. He just needs to be good. Sometimes they say, goaltending. Like, you just need like a goalie that's not going to hurt you. Just have like that 900 save percentage, make the big saves. That's what Montreal needs out of their second line center. Just good. Doesn't need to be.
Just be good enough. Just be good enough.
Be good enough, man. Exactly. And
I want to share one thing. Go ahead.
And I agree. No, I was just going to say, Coach, I agree with you. Like, you want, with teams around the league, you see this, right? Everybody talks about it. Like, Carolina's looking for a second line center. Winnipeg, they've heard for years, second line center. Like, that second line center is such important, because if you can get your second line to complement your first line, then everything else falls in line. I'm not trying to rhyme here, but you know what I'm saying here. Like, as putting a team together, you want everybody to flow. Yeah, I know, right? It was dope. Like, you look at Florida, right? Everybody complements each other. And now you're seeing that good teams know how to roll four lines and not just rely on one line. And Colorado kind of fell into that problem. Okay, we're going to roll one line. We don't have a second line anymore.
Yeah.
One thing I want to mention, Marko, about this, I did yesterday an exercise because I have to go to the Cat and Rats and talking about Atlantic Division, talking about Montreal, Canadiens, everything. And we did that together. And really interesting stat I find out, Marko. We talk about the goal differential, like if you get plus, you make the NHL. But any team score 250 goals, Marko, and they gave less of 233 goals, they make the playoff. Like, you can have an exception, right? You can have like one team, and Minnesota is one of them, and Montreal is one of them. But if you do that, but now you're going to get a better chance to win to be a part of the playoffs. So I just want to share with you about this. Finally, Martin said we're going to get the best version of Patrick Laine for the upcoming season. So how do you interpret his word?
Go ahead, Jim.
I mean, I mean, I take him at his word. I like to take a lot of these guys at these words because all we've heard, Marko, right, this offseason is the best offseason he's had in years, right? He's going to come in. It's going to be different. He's healthy finally. He's not dealing with anything. He's getting trained full offseason. I'd like to see the best version of Patrik Laine because I haven't seen it since the Winnipeg Jets. Like, I really haven't seen. Like, there were signs that, oh, okay, here's Patrik Laine. But then again, there were other signs where he was demoted or he didn't play. You need Patrik Laine to be good. Like, you need him to be that guy, but you can't expect him. Like, and we've talked about this throughout the times we've been on together. If you're expecting him to play defense, you got a problem. Like, because he doesn't do it.
All right. Here we go. So this is I'm with you. Like, there's a lot of strong evidence, that would show that he wasn't like in a great position to have, to show his best last year, right? So first of all, he didn't play much the year before that, had the shoulder surgery, didn't really get to train all summer, and then he blows his knee in training camp against flub, that didn't even play for the Marlies, right? Worst, like, it's the worst start you could think of, and yet he still comes back. And like Sandy, we talked about it, like, the big thing for them is they wanted to get him excited and fall in love with the game again. And who could, like, based on the reception that he got at the Bell Center, like, you could see, like, he definitely fell in love with the city, fell in love with playing hockey again. And that's what they were really trying. And, the bonus is they did get all those power play goals, and arguably they don't make the playoffs without him coming in, midseason and chipping in, right? So I take that as a win for last year. So I think that there is room or reason for optimism about him, having the best summer. Like, logically, that makes sense, right? Like, even if he trained just okay, he still had like the whole summer, and he's healthier. My thing with Patrik Laine, Jim, and I watched him very closely, last year. It's not that I think he gets a rap for not back checking. I think he does actually. He's not perfect, right? Like, sometimes he doesn't come back as hard, but overall, he's actually better at back checking and coming back than people might think. The big problem, I think, the coaching staff, and I know for sure that I have with him, is turnovers at the offensive blue line.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Those are, as you know, right? Like, the most dangerous place to turn over the puck is at either blue line, your offensive or your defensive blue line. And what we saw a lot last year is, I think he's trying to prove to everybody that he's not just a sniper, that he can carry the puck in, make plays. So, and I think he can. Like, he is an underrated playmaker, and he does have great vision. I would just like to see him carry the puck in less. And I think that's what the coaching staff is going to work with him on is, listen, like, we're pretty actually happy with your level of effort when it comes to the back check. Maybe there's some positioning things here and there, but really it's like puck management stuff and risk management stuff at the offensive and defensive blue lines. If they can get that out of his game, then I think that's where he can be more effective 5-on-5, because we know what he can do offensively. It's stay healthy, good puck and risk management. And then now we're looking at a different Patrik Laine that can be effective 5-on-5, be on the ice, trusted by St. Louis to be on the ice where he can be effective. So that's what I'm looking for from him.
Yeah, I mean, and look, he doesn't have to worry about carrying the puck too much this year, entering the blue line if you have Demidov on the same line. So if Demidov's going to carry the second line like that, and if Kirby Dach's staying healthy, and we talked about his physical game and going to get the puck, Laine can go shoot it in and have Kirby Dach go win puck battles in a corner, and now don't have to worry about that. Look, I know he does get a bad rap about it because in Winnipeg he really didn't play too much defense. Like I watched a lot of his games, he didn't. Yeah, I mean, I did see the hustle and stuff there, but I think there was a reason why he was put on 4 Nations and for Finland, and it's going to be the same reason he goes to the Olympic team probably. It's a shot on a power play. It's an elite shot, and again, if you couldn't turn him into an effective 5-on-5 player again, because we know what he can do on the power play, then you're having a complete player, and that's the best you're seeing from Patrik Laine.
Yeah.
So I checked from a couple of stats here for Patrik Laine, or everybody after the 4 Nations for the Montreal Canadiens. He finished with a 15 point, 24 game, 8 goals on 24. But you have Christian Dvorak, 16 points. Sakoski, 21. Caulfield, 21. Laine 25 and 26. And Nick Suzuki, guy, 37 point and 26 game. At the last 26 game of the season. If you look about the forward, Patrick Laine, Patrick Laine at -3, Evans -1, Newhook -6, all the with Armia at -3, all the only players with a minus after the Four Nation with Eneman. Eneman -8. Eneman, guys, is last 21 game. He has 0 goal, assist for Emil Eneman with a mark. And Nick is in the house, by the way. DD is in the house. Welcome, everybody. Don't forget, please to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be great. And Marko, we want to talk about something special tonight. And we have another thing, guys. My show could be forever with Jim also. But let's talk about this. Jim, be ready on that one also at the same time.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. So, Marko, explain what you want to talk about. That will follow with the that's relate with the show or the subject tonight about the dice already or not for the Montreal Canadiens for the spot for the Montreal or the hard. What was the subject? I cannot remember the another thing. The true harsh.
So basically, so the theme of the show was Coach. His thumbnail for the show was like, "Hey, the dice are already cast. Like, there's no spots to be won." And then my headline was like, well, there's still room for some experiments, but and my headline today was about like, I think in a training camp, like you need to experiment, especially Montreal has like some new pieces coming in, but there's a fine line, right? Like you don't want to experiment. And then again, like you're screwing around and then, your first real lineup is the first game. Like you want to lock it in. So what we wanted to cover, here, and you can contribute, like, the players just as well as we do, is based on kind of what we've seen, and we've had this conversation on here, Budzik versus Laine on the second line, right? Like, what are some of the experiments that us as observers or fans, what experiments do we want to see St. Louis try in training camp? Which ones are we morbidly curious about that we would want to see? So I'll put one out there. So we already talked about, hey, I think a lot of us were like, we just finished talking about Laine. Okay. What if you put Budzik up there instead of Laine with Demidov and Dach? That, I think that would be a fun experiment, one that we both talked about.
I would experiment with that one.
Yeah. So let's kind of dive into some of those, right? So we've already talked about that one. So I think all of us think that was kind of an alternative reality or a true option that St. Louis should look at, is having Budzik as an option there, because similar to what we talked about, is it gives you a little bit of a change there, like a little bit of a different look than somebody like Laine. It's also like 2 left shots. So that's interesting, right? But let's put out some other ones here. Like one maybe in the bottom 6. There's a lot of debate. A lot of people saw what Martin St. Louis did with the Dvorak, Anderson, and Gallagher line, right? That was a very relied upon line. Played a lot of crucial 5-on-5 minutes, very dependable. So most people, would say, hey, let's just try to reproduce that line. Instead, we're just going to replace Dvorak with Evans, and we're just going to do that, right? So that is an option. I think that's what the most conventional thought is that they're just going to do that. But what are some other options there that they could try with that, right? Because if you put all those, those are all probably the best defensive players that Montreal has in their bottom 6. You're putting them all together. You're loading them up as kind of a shutdown line. But then that leaves the other bottom 6 with players like Veleno and Newhook and Budzik or Laine, right? So I don't know if so that's an interesting thing to debate or experiment with. So rather than having all of your best defensive guys together, split them up. Like maybe have Veleno with, if he's going to play, with Gallagher and Anderson, and have Evans on a different line. So just throwing things out there. Like, what are some of the experiments you'd like to see there, Jim?
Like, I actually would think I would like to see a shutdown line maybe for a couple of games in the preseason, because I know Florida has one. They literally legitimately have a shutdown line, and they figured it out. But what I want to see most is if Bolduc can be that versatile player that everyone thinks he can be, and can be that hate bringing up Evan Rodriguez again because I brought him up before, but that Evan Rodriguez type guy where you can slot him in. Oh, he could play third line tonight, but if I have to make a quick switch, I know he can play second line. Like I really want to see Bolduc on the second line. Like we put that in ad nauseum, but I want to see it because I think he has the ability to do it, and if he can continuously be there.
Yeah, let's assume they do that. Okay, so to be honest, so here I'll tell you what my lineup. This is not what I'm predicting they're going to do, but this is like my NHL, like a PlayStation lineup, that I use, right? So you've got obviously Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slav on the first line. Then I've got Dach, I've got Demidov, and I've got Bolduc on the second line. Third line, I've got Evans, Newhook, and Laine together. Now that's so
I like it.
People might say, like, okay, wait a minute, like you're going to count on that Evans line to play against, like some shutdown, right? So again, that's if Laine can, stop doing those turnovers, right? But I like that mix, like because I like you have a little bit of offense on each line, right? So you've got Laine, and again, if it's at the end of the game and he's not feeling it, you can always sub him out if you're protecting a lead and put Anderson there instead, right? But I'm saying just 5-on-5 normal course of action, you have Evans, Newhook, and Laine. And then on your fourth line, you've got Veleno centering Gallagher and Anderson, right? Kind of that shutdown line. If Veleno can win faceoffs and be a player. So I like that mix, right? Because like we said, like having that balanced offense all throughout your lines, you got righty, lefty on most lines, and you got people that can take faceoffs on both sides, which is good as well. And again, like I don't love having all of your defensive people on one line because then it's kind of like loading all of your top it's like kind of like loading up the boat with your best offensive guys too, right? Like then you're kind of you're not going to have any depth across your lineup, right? So having a defensive presence on each line as a defensive conscious, I kind of like that idea as well too.
No, I like it. I think it's good. To be honest, like, and you see it with like other teams too, because some of those depth players and those bottom six, mid six forwards, they have an offensive punch that is very sneaky. And if you can get, like, as we've talked about with the lineups, I saw you guys had that episode about lineup projections, and we've talked about it, right? Like, if you can get production out of your middle and bottom six forwards, you're going to be in the playoffs. And if Montreal expects to be there, like having Laine there is really good. You can experiment. I would experiment with some of the D pairings too, like see who clicks with who.
That was my next question. Yeah, that was my next question.
Like that's my like big thing. Like, all right, who's gonna click with who here? Because we kind of know who's gonna we kind of know where guys are gonna play, but wouldn't everybody like love to see like for fun like Dobson and Hudson like together?
That scares me to death. Like
I'm not saying I'm not saying doing it for fun. I'm saying for fun. Like for fun.
No time for fun, Jim. Martin Saint-Louis said it, man. There's no time for fun. No shinny.
No time for fun. No shinny. But seriously, I would like to see him put his defensive pairs together, like, and stick with them.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So here's the big one. So here's the big one in training camp, right? So I think the conventional wisdom here is that it's going to be Gooley and Dobson. That makes the most sense. They're like good, like, a two-way guy, with Dobson on. So I think that's good. Matheson has brain cramps sometimes, so does Dobson. So I think that's a good pairing. Then the big question mark is Reinbacher, right? So a lot of people, Reinbacher, like his rookie games, there's definitely some holes there. I'm sure we'll talk about it later. Like he's going to need to keep his game much, much simpler. Like my theory all summer here is that the only way that he makes the lineup this year, makes the team off the bat, is if he can play the safe card with St. Louis. Because coaches, JB, they love a guy that they know exactly what they're going to get when they put on the ice. And that's like Reinbacher's calling card, or what it's supposed to be, right? Not flashy, dependable, stable. But in the rookie games, he was really trying to be flashy, rushing the puck more than he should. So he's going to need to really switch that up here in the training camp and just like move the puck out, simple plays. If he does that, that's a whole other topic, right? But if Reinbacher does make the team, then it makes things way complicated, right? Because then you have all these man shots, right? But let's assume he doesn't make the team, because the conventional thinking is that he's still going to go to Laval. So let's just assume that's the case, right? So I think in that case, we know that Laine Hutson has been practicing taking passes on his backhand because he anticipating that he's going to actually have to play on the right side again this year. So if that's the case, it's likely that he's going to, the second pairing after Gouli and Dobson would then be Matheson on the left, Hudson on the right, until Reinbacher's ready. And then on your bottom pair, you're subbing between Jackeye and Struble on the left, and then you have Carrier on the right. That's kind of the conventional thinking, right? But so for the question of
this, you know what I would do? You know what I was just thinking?
Experiment.
You know what I was feeling in my head just to experiment this? I know he's not a second pair guy right now, but what if you put Hudson back on his normal side, you put Carrier with him?
Too small.
I know, right? Like, it's too small of a pair. Like, that's the issue. They just don't have big dudes.
The style of play.
But you want that lefty-righty combination, because Hudson being on the right side is hindering his development as a left-handed shot defenseman.
He played probably, I think the last 40 games ish of the season. After, you remember, like, Gouli got hurt, like he had that weird thing where he cut his own leg and everything. So they had Struble playing on the left side and they had Hudson playing the right side. And arguably it was his best stretch of hockey in the whole season. So and again, like, we know if there's one thing about Hudson is that he puts in the work, and that was a big, the two main focus of his off season were improving his shot and taking passes on his backhand, because he's a smart guy. He can kind of look at the writing on the wall and think, okay, yeah, they're probably going to play me on the right. So it's not ideal, like, because again, but if there's anybody that is going to play on the right as a lefty,
he could do it.
He's the guy, right? We saw Gouli, and we covered this so many times, and I got a lot of heat on this, but I was like, they're going to kill the poor guy. Like all the concussions that Gouli got, because he just, like, where they're the most vulnerable, Jim, I think you'll agree, is on puck retrievals, right? They're going back, and you're on your wrong side, and then you have to kind of pivot, and then boom. And we saw Gouli got clocked so many times, and like weird, awkward movements, like and then he got really injured quite a few times, right? So if you have to, I would say Hudson is the guy to do it. But in terms of like experiments, and this is the topic of our subject here is, wouldn't you be mad if St. Louis doesn't at least try Reinbacher with Hudson at some point during the camp?
You got to do it. You got to do it at some point. Well, here's the thing, and this is where I think Coach would be good at this, because he's been around the games, right? You want defensemen like forwards to find roles, right? And if you have a couple of flashy guys right now in Hudson and Dobson, right? You have those puck-moving guys already. Like you said, Reinbacher needs to kind of be that defensive defenseman that everybody thinks he can be and play the safe guy. If he can come in and be the safe guy and play on that second pairing with Hudson, now you got something for Montreal, because, he can be your safe guy, because that's the issue New Jersey had with Nemec coming in. He's trying to be a flashy dude when realistically, go work on your defense.
Yeah, man. Like, again, it's all about situational, right? Like, people look at lineup cards. Are we cutting out? Like, can you guys hear me at all?
I can hear you.
Can you guys? Okay, cool. So I know it's kind of flaking out a bit here, but people look at lineups and they forget that you can have situational coaching, right? So, so let's say here's something for you, Jim. So let's say you got Gouli and Dobson, right? That's your first pair. They're probably going to log the most minutes, right? And then let's say you have Matheson and Carrier as your second pair, okay? Which is, they probably, that's a good mix. They had a lot of success together. People are going to freak out. They're like, whoa, wait a minute. You got Hudson on the bottom pair now playing with Reinbacher. He's like, this is the rookie of the year. How can you have him on the third pair? But again, like it's all about minute distribution, right? Like if the third pair could be playing 30 seconds less than the second pair, like the minutes could be almost identical. But Hudson's
Right.
going to get a lot more power play time. And then again, it's situational. If the Habs are losing by a goal, then guess what? Maybe they switch things up and they move Hudson up to the right with Matheson because they need more offense and whatever. But so to me, that would be the most ideal pairing, for now, based on who they have, is you'd have Matheson with Carrier, really solid second pair. They complement each other really well. And then you have, Hudson and Reinbacher, if Reinbacher can hack it, right? If he can play that simple game. But then the big question is like, then you have an issue because both Xhekaj and Struble are waiver eligible, JB. So
Yeah,
are you just
exactly.
gonna like, so, then that leads to question. Then Matheson, he's in the final year of his deal. So what do you do there? So I'm not saying it's easy. These are tough decisions, and
But
there's a
this
lot of
is good.
variables.
But this is a good thing to have if you're a team that's competing and want to be in a playoff, because now you have depth on defense. And what does everybody say come trade deadline time? Oh, I need to get more depth on D. God forbid there's an injury, right? Like this,
Yeah.
these. I say this in a good way. These are tough decisions to make, but in a good way, right? Like
But from
when
an
you're a
asset,
team competing,
from an
when you're
asset,
competing, you want this type.
yeah, you if you can keep them but from an asset management perspective, you're probably going to lose one. Like if you have to waive one of them, there's no way either Jack or Struble are making it through waivers,
Oh
right?
no,
And
absolutely not.
so you can't really. I guess you could, right? Like you don't want those guys sitting in the stands for long periods of time, and you're like, roster sizes in the NHL make it that you're at least going to want to carry at least one extra forward, not carry just extra D, right? So again, that's a whole other thing, right? But we're talking about experiments, right? So that's for sure. Let's experiment. Like we want to see some of the experiments on the back end, see how that works. I think in the goaltending front, there's not too much experimenting. You could say that there's a little bit of a battle for the backup position with Dobesh and Kakinen. Like it's not insane that
Kakinen can Kakinen can steal games from him. Like
for
and
sure.
everybody said to me, like I was telling people when that came in, I was like, look, I know Dobesh played well last year, but I would not be surprised if Capo Kakinen is the
No,
backup goaltender for the Montreal
yeah,
Canadiens this year.
for sure, man. Like, would you prefer? Okay, because again, Dobesh has to bring it. Like, he's very confident. If you've seen any of the behind the scenes footage, like I don't call him cocky. Like cocky has like a negative connotation, but he's confident as shit, man. Like he has that
That's good. You
cocky
want
vibe,
that.
which is great. Absolutely. So so he's coming in very confident, but he's going to have to prove it. And if he does it, great.
Question for you, Marko. If I look this up, but is he waiver exempt, Dovesh?
He's exempt, yeah. So he can go down.
So he could go down, and if I think Capo Kakinen probably needs waivers.
He has to go
Am I
through
correct
waivers.
with
He
that?
has to go through waivers. Yeah, exactly.
So with teams probably going to need goaltending, he ain't making it through waivers.
So that's the thing. Like Kakinen had a very, very strong playoff in the NHL, and like actually, he's the reason that the Laval Rocket, like he goalied them in a couple of those games, and there's a reason why they signed him as an RFA, because they saw firsthand what he can do, right? So, there's always that risk with the third goal. Like look at Toronto. It seems like every third goalie they tried to get, they would always get picked up on waivers. That happens sometimes. So the real safest play would be to have Dobesh go down and have Kakinen there. And to be honest, I'm cool with that as well, because then you have a good, healthy competition between Fowler and Dobesh. They can split the games evenly down there in Laval. Laval's going to have a good team. As long as Kakinen, again, because there's so many back-to-backs, you need your backup to deliver, right? So whoever is going to deliver the goods, that's going to be the critical thing. So that's a good experiment, for the training camp, Jim. What are some other of those, like maybe, and coach, like, it's your show, maybe, so maybe you should talk for a little bit here, but like,
I know we're taking over the show from Coach.
My job is to answer the people in the chat when you're talking, so that's all good. Don't worry about that. It's pretty good what you just said. I think you have a couple of things to pick it up here, and the people in the chat all agree or disagree about Reinbacher. A lot of people talk about Reinbacher, and then. But I have a question for you, Marko and Jim. about if Doc is not the man of the second center, uh, who will be the center is going to be between Laine or Demidov?
I mean,
And what
I
do you
would
mean
think
by
maybe
not
you
the
would
guy
try to,
he
like,
gets
if he's
injured? Is that
not
what you
the
mean?
guy, or he's just not playing up to snuff, like as the second line center. Like if they're like, I think I know what coach is saying. I might be misinterpreting this, but if he's saying like he's not up to snuff with those guys, can't stay with them, like who are you gonna swap in and maybe move him
Yeah,
down to play with somebody with?
yeah,
I mean, I think we've talked about this before. I mean, the guy is probably Newhook, right? I mean,
yeah.
but I don't know. Like they really don't have it. Like Foligno, Bolduc is not a center. Like
So one guy that we haven't talked about, like,
Kapanen,
that's the thing, right? So Grant McCagg, who's like a controversial figure in Montreal Canadiens
yeah,
social media, right? So his hot take is that Kapanen might be the second line center for the Montreal Canadiens. We did see a lot of great chemistry between him and Demidov during that rookie game, and he can win faceoffs. Like he's underrated, pretty good at faceoffs, good two-way guy. Obviously we don't have enough of a sample size to really understand if he could handle that workload. He's played the men's game, like he's been a professional. This is going to be his third year pro, second in North America, but third year pro overall. So listen, there's something to that. But again, another right hand shot. It seems like all of our centers
yeah.
are like Kapanen, like all of them, like geez, like a lot of redundancy there for sure. So the problem with Newhook is definitely face-offs. I think he's proven that he can do the job. Like he can, he has decent enough vision, not enough for a second line center, I don't think. But listen, in a pinch, he can come in and fill that role. Just don't expect him to be north of like 45% on his face-offs, though, unfortunately.
No,
But he can come in and do it for a while. But Zook, listen, I know he's been working on his face-offs and everything, but if like the reason they went and got him, Ken Hughes has said as much, is they were super impressed with him after Montgomery showed up because he amped up his physical play, because he was really
right.
aggressive as a puck pursuit guy. Well, guess what? You just described a winger, not a center. If
But
you
yeah,
went
that's
out
not
and
a
got him,
center.
no. So you just described the things that were sexy about Budzik. Well, you're going to take away all those sexy things: his shot, his puck pursuit, his hitting. That's not what a center does. So could he do it? Maybe, but again, he's not the prototypical prototype guy that you think as for a center. Again, can they do it? Like it's always good to have options of, like, again, who can take face-offs is a different question than who is a center. You know,
Right. Yeah,
Slavkovsky is
because
learning.
look, it's not it's not like you can go down to the 7-Eleven store and there's a hockey store and go get a second line center that's a left shot. It can't do it.
Yeah.
Like Matt Cullen's not walking in the door to take like Matt Cullen was a good center, but you know what he was known for? Taking faceoffs. He was a very, very
Yeah.
good faceoff guy. If you watch those Penguins back-to-back cups, how
Yeah,
many defensive
for sure.
zone faceoffs did he take to get them out of trouble, or offensive zone faceoffs to get them, and then he would get off and the next guy would come in. Like there's like I agree with you, Marco. There's a difference between face-off guy and center guy. Like there's a big time difference, and it's so hard to find that guy. Like you said, if Foligno can show something in
Yeah,
the
that's
dot,
that's
like
the
if
thing,
he
right?
can
Like
show
that to me, that's
something in the dot,
yeah. And I think that's after Kirby Dach. I think Veleno is kind of like the other kind of like mystery bag in this thing, right? It's hard to get it's hard to buy that, and it's hard to get on that train just because of everything that we've seen. But again, it's a mystery bag. There's a chance there that you're just so hyped playing in his hometown. Really, like he said that, like if you look at some of his interviews after he signed, that like getting waived twice in 1 year was a huge wake up call for him, right? Somebody that was like an exceptional guy with exceptional status, in the queue, had all these chances in Detroit. So that was like Jim, man. Like, I imagine being in his position, right? You have this huge pedigree, and things aren't going super well, but you're still around in Detroit, and then boom, within the span of like 4 months, you get traded from the team that drafted you, and then you're waived by the Chicago Blackhawks, dude. You're waived by the Chicago Blackhawks. And then Columbus decides to also buy you out, right? So he it's up to him, man. Like if he chooses to use that as fuel to motivate him, he has the skills to do it. He's a left-hand shot. He's decent size. He has good speed, can skate, he has the toolkit, right? So to me, that's a mystery box, right? So if Kirby Dach doesn't do it, to me, the first guy I would try if he's having a decent time playing on the bottom six, it would be Veleno. That would be my first go-to, probably. Coach, what do you think? I know you go Newhook. You're a Newhook, aren't you? Blue Jays?
Blue Jays?
It's because he said, who? Because the people are fired up in the chat right now with all the center name we get there. Here's my observation for all the stuff talking right now in the chat, and you guys, everything like that. That's giving me we have a red flag in Montreal right now. We don't have a center. And
no,
whatever we have right now, that's the real thing. Last year, Zuski, after the Four Nations, 53.1. Jake Evans, 53.1. Christian Dvorak, 52.9. The face-off percentage was excellent for Montreal Canadiens. Some people talk about Jake Evans to be at the center number 2. It's like a little bit like you take a ZZ Cass for the New York Islanders. He said, now you're going to be a center number 2 on the line. That's not going to work. If you want to be a team when make the playoff at least, you have to put the players at the role they can accomplish and the right share. Jake Evans is a 4 center. That 4 center, that 4 line is to shut down the opponent team. You cannot give someone. It's a little bit. He said Patrick Laine is going to be now to play on the 4 line to shut down Austin Matthews' line. It's not going to work. Same thing with Jake Evans. Don't take Jake Evans a shutdown man to try to bring the offensive side of your team. It's not going to work. 2 goals last year in the last 26 games. My point behind that is Montreal, until they don't find that second center, you're going to patch up. And every time you patch up, you're going to have difficulties. If you take about Newhook, 40% face-off about they are minus 13. If you and is really look like for me, Dach and Newhook are try to be a center, but they are not center. They are better winger. That's a big problem behind that. And how we can put an Oliver Kapanen on the second line right away. We already have a Demidov just show up and both players on the second line. That's a lot of responsibility behind that. And we have a Budzik, never played center for the last 2 years. To get there, and that's what we have. Joe Veleno is another guy, played many years in NHL, play only 28 points, 30 points. He's a guy can play only on the bottom 6. So we have a couple of great center on the bottom 6, but we don't have anybody right now that can play on the second center. It's a patch up. That's what's happening right now. They find the right players.
So I'm with you, right? But again, like it's all. So when we're talking about Kirby Dach, right? So again, this is assuming for whatever reason, let's define what success is for Kirby Dach. So in that show we just did a couple of weeks ago, where we broke down how many goals, and you just talked about teams that score over 250 goals and have a certain amount. So the projected number that I like, based on my calculations, looking at last year, if Montreal can score 263 goals, okay, that's the goals for that we're looking for, then we should be good. So the amount of goals that we were looking for from the second line is 58 goals. So I had Dach with 16 goals, Budzik with 24, and Demidov with 18. So we're looking for 58 goals from the second line. All the numbers I just said are reasonable, right? Dach getting 16 goals, that's not insane. We're not asking him to score 25, 30 goals. For Budzik or Laine, whoever it is that you have up there, 24, 25 goals, that's a reasonable ask for the second line. So
It's huge.
really that's what it comes. Like I look at it, I know it's not exactly the same, JB, but I look at it like Moneyball, right? I'm looking, okay, so how
Yep.
many goals do we need from this position, regardless of who's in it? So all Montreal needs, if they have the balanced scoring, is 58 goals from that second line.
Exactly.
So I think that's doable with the personnel they have. Now, again, I'm not disagreeing with that. Like I have eyes. Of course, they would love to upgrade it. Like if you can go out and get McTavish or a Blair, like whoever, like even we talk about Barrett Hayton, like they need to up. It would be great, especially because of the left-hand shot thing that we keep talking about. But it's doable, guys. Like they just need 58 goals. That's really what it comes down to. Moneyball it, and that's what they need.
Yep, absolutely about that, Marco. Everything like that. We have 12 minutes to complete that show. I still have, we can talk again for another hour for sure. We're going to skip the NHL. Every time Jim come here, we push back the division. Tonight we were supposed to talk about the
talk too
Central
much.
Division.
Sorry about that. I talk too much.
But we can go to the clash if you don't mind. By the way, Jim, Monday you missed the show. It's okay. But my clash was all about the Devils, and I was squeeze you on different thing. But tonight we're going to go around, and it's no big deal. This is sponsored by the Hockey Hot Stove. Thanks again to sponsor the show tonight. Here we go. We're going to start with all of you tonight, the people in the chat. Lindy Ruff fire this season, Jim.
Fired. I'm gonna say not at all because I think this is last year on his contract, lame duck anyway. So I think they're just gonna let it ride it out, and maybe he'll just take like a consulting or front office position there in Buffalo. Like I think they want him a part of that, but you gonna pay another coach to go away? Like, just let the contract at that point. Just let the contract run out this season.
Yeah,
I never understood the hire.
No, like in our resident Buffaloes fans, RDP, like he was hyped, dude. You should have seen. He was hyped. The Lindy Ruff memory gravy train. Like I get it. Like I'm gonna say not at all either. Just with all the pomp and circumstance surrounding, like bringing the team back together, bringing the boys back together, time machine it back to when Buffalo last made the playoffs. I think just from a PR perspective, it would just look, I just don't think they'll do it. Even if they're terrible, I just don't think that they can, the optics would just be terrible with how much they hyped bringing Lindy Ruff back. So I'd be more, the real question is, terrible hire, the good news, well, you can debate it, right? They have Kakalainen that's joined the front office there to
Kakalainen is the next GM. He's the next GM once Adams goes. Like Adams is going to be the first guy to go before Ruff goes.
Yeah. So I think that's really the big question, right? Like if you, I asked, I was in the chat for the eye test with Jimmy Murphy and Pierre Maguire. And I asked him this question, like, which management team is under the biggest pressure this year, the Red Wings or the Sabres? Yeah, that's a tough one, right?
Both.
Like, both are, yeah. So, Coach, I don't think they're going to be able to fire Lindy Ruff, honestly, because again, it's just the optics would just be terrible.
All right, on that one, people it's 50-50 in the chat. LDP don't expect to get fired.
RDP, he was hyped.
Montreal Canadiens power play top 5, Marko, 2025-2026.
Ooh, so again, so what I'm looking for them, and by the way, Jim, like the concept for this show this year, and we hope you can come back later in the year. So we have this new brand for this Wednesday show. It's called Habs Hump Day. What we're going to be doing once the season starts, we have certain kind of like KPIs or metrics that we're going to be looking at, and we're going to have some great graphics to show kind of how Montreal's trending during the year, like goals for, goals against, PK, like all the main KPIs, right? So the KPI that I'm projecting that they'll need to have a top 10 power play, be around 24% is kind of what I was looking at for them to be there. So top 5 is a big ask though. Like I think they have the personnel to be there, right? But We know that last year it was an anomaly. It was a record for the NHL low amount of penalty calls, right? So I think top 10 definitely, but I'm going to say, unfortunately, it's going to be close, but I'm going to say not at all for top 5.
I'm going to go on the back end of that too. I'm going to piggyback off you, Marco. I think it's going to be not at all. I think they're just going to miss. I think they're just going to miss being inside top 5 because there's too many big units out there right now that are ahead of them. And they're really big units. Tampa being one of them. Florida has a good power play. Colorado has a great power play. That's 3 right there. I didn't even mention. I didn't even mention Edmonton. Like that's 4.
Yeah.
Toronto still has a good unit. Like they'll be top 10, but top 5 is that's.
Yeah.
If you're top 5, you better. You're first of all, if they're top 5, they're top 3 in the division. Like, and I'm
not if they're PK. That's the thing. It's
not
top 5. If they're PK, so last year, Jim, they're I think 21st. They ended up 21st in PP, but they were like 10 for PK. So they need to stay around 10 to 12 on PK and then get into that top 10. If they're like, we know the combination of both percentages has to be over 110%. That's the conventional thinking across the NHL, right? And by the way, I've never heard somebody say big unit more times on a podcast in a row within 30 seconds, but good on you.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Who is at the top 10 of the power play last season? Chicago, Edmonton, Florida.
Chicago and Edmonton, but not Florida. Chicago and Edmonton.
My question, only one team.
Only one team that I'm going to say.
Chicago, Edmonton, or...
If you're asking, then it's probably Chicago because it wouldn't be a weird question to ask. So I'm going to say Chicago.
I will follow up with the comments of Jim, by the way.
So it's Edmonton? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying it's Edmonton?
No, but it's surprisingly like Edmonton, Chicago, and Florida guys are not in the top 10.
So Chicago. So Marco was right. It's Chicago.
And honestly, I should ask you, Toronto, Edmonton, and Florida, Marco, will be in the top 10. What would be your first answer?
No, that was a huge controversy. There's times in the year where Toronto's power play was really like they took Morgan Riley off there. They were like they had 5 forwards experimenting with that. So I wouldn't be shocked to hear that they slipped out of the top 10. There's parts of the year where they're really good, but parts of the year where they struggled. So
they struggled for like 30 games on power play.
Yeah.
So Toronto finished 9, guys, and then Edmonton and Florida Panthers. Will be another question. Which team is not on the top 10? Toronto, Colorado, or Edmonton? That'd be a good one. The people were thinking Edmonton is in, and Edmonton is only finished 12. About that. For Montreal to be the top 5, guys, they have to have at least 25.9, almost 26. It would be like almost 6% percentage, almost impossible. They may maybe barely, Marco, like you said, 24. They be 11. So
that would be a good spot for them. Like, 24% is what I'm hoping they can hit.
Demidov gets 70 points this season, Marco.
I'm going to say not at all, but it's not because he doesn't have the skill for it or whatever. I think it's just going to be opportunity, right? Like, we'll see. Again, like it's a tough question because my answer might be different if he starts on the first unit power play, if he starts there, right? So I'm going to say not at all, just because again, there's too many question marks around that second line. But I don't think he's good. I think he's good for 55 to 60 points. But if he gets right on the first unit power play and they end up in that top 5, that's really the A2 69. Nice. That would be nice. But I don't think. But no, I think 70 might be a little too high.
I don't. I'm gonna go not at all. I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna get to 70. I think this was the expectations I was talking about before. Realistically, I think he's gonna get like 60 to 65. But again, even if guys are on top power play unit, they don't always get all the points. So, and we've seen that too. So it all depends on how you get your assists, is it goals, like all that. I think he ends up short.
Yeah, I think so too.
Look, Celebrini 63, Mishkov 63, Bedard 68, I believe 67. It would be almost a perfect year like Laine last season to get 70 points. And it's not guaranteed, but you never know. Next one, Marko Misa and in the Sharks roster October 8th, Jim.
He'll be on the Sharks roster for opening night. Absolutely, he will be. They're gonna give him they'll give him a look. They signed him to his ELC. They're gonna give him a look. So yeah, I'm gonna say absolutely he'll be on the Sharks roster October 8th.
100%. I won't add more than that, man. It's 10:28. I have nothing more to add. I would be shocked if he's not on the opening day roster.
All right. I'm going to get another one for you, Marco. I'm going to give you, we're going to extra 3-4 minutes for that one. Let's see San Jose that San Jose get McKenna next season. Now they have McKenna, Celebrini, Smith, Misa. Okay, that's 4. We don't including Ekblom over there. That's 5 if you want to get there. But let's see with Smith, Celebrini, McKenna, and Misa. Which one of the 4 you trade to get what you don't have? I'm not talking about, you know what I mean? Like a defenseman, a goalie, whatever it is. But if you have to trade one of them to give you a better chance, like Florida trade Huberdeau example, which one you're going to trade if you have that?
Wow. And guys, like, talk about like, again, this is a Habs podcast, right? But just talk about luck of the draw, right? Like, it's all about timing when you pick in the top 5, and like we love Slav and everything, and Reinbacher is going to be a player, but Jesus, man, like luck, sometimes just who you pick, the cycle of the draft, right? But anyway, so you're right. San Jose would be even if they don't get him, like they're still going to get an amazing player this year, right? So out of those guys, like, I guess what's different is that Smith is a right-hand shot. And then, I'm pretty sure Celebrini is a left-hand shot. Misa is a left-hand shot. So, geez, I think Celebrini to me is kind of, I have him right there with Bedard as like a generational guy, but more of like, if I had to pick who to start a franchise with, I'm picking Celebrini over Bedard, just because I believe, like, to me, he's more Crosby-ish of a prototype than Bedard. Like, I love Bedard. I wouldn't kick him out of bed for eating crackers either here, but Celebrini is the guy. So I'm not moving Celebrini. I'm probably not moving Smith because he's a right-hand shot. So, really it's between Misa and McKenna. So, like, I don't know. I guess I if you have to, you move Michael Misa out of those guys. That's like a Sophie's choice though, eh, JB?
Yeah, I mean, if you land McKenna, you're not. That's 2 generational talents supposedly on the same team. Like, you're not moving the guy you just drafted, right? Like, I mean, you would get a boatload for him because every team would want a McKenna, like Davin McKenna. But Jesus, I'd probably go with Misa because the chemistry that Smith and Celebrini have right now.
Could you afford to, like, so just from a cap management perspective, right? You're like, okay, it would be insane to have McKenna and Celebrini on the same team, but when they need to get paid, are we even going to be able to pay both those guys? So maybe it makes sense to go for like a Lindros type blockbuster where you just, like, so let's say they win the lottery and you just kind of like go to town and open it up for the biggest, and like, imagine, like, that might be the quickest way for San Jose to kind of to accelerate their rebuild, right? Like, you already have these great young players. cash in a generational talent like that for, a Forsberg, like that Nordiques,
if they could get a defenseman out of it.
Oh yeah, you're getting more than that. Like you get like a top pairing defenseman and a winger and probably another pick or something like that for McKenna, right? So
One more thing.
Interesting.
One more thing about San Jose, Marko. They have Kasper Haltunen, another great forward, and they have Sam Dickinson as the defenseman. This is what is the problem. That's the reason was my question. You tried maybe Smith or another player like we mentioned to get a defenseman because they have only him. The other one is Mukamet Dulin is already at 23 years old.
Yeah.
And then you have Salin. So and I think Roy and A2 talk about Alan Ducks, maybe more balance between the defenseman and the forward. Overall, Chicago, guys, I know I follow them and I write for them. So Chicago, now you become a fan for them. But if you look about that prospect pipeline where they are really balanced between the defenseman and the forward, yes, maybe you're going to say longer Lechinov over Demidov, but still, the defenseman guy is 6'3", 6'4", a plus, and the forward with Ballard Nazar, Frondel, if they can pick it again, a McKenna next season, that thing would be looking gem also for the long term along with them. But we'll see what's happening. For that, I want
Coach,
to finish this and not keep you, and to keep all defense. Okay, Marko?
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, since it's the Habs podcast, right? Like, just let's finish with this and people can tell us in the chat. And I think we had this as a question last year, but let's say that would happen and San Jose has one of those players in the mix. Would you trade Laine Hudson for Macklin Celebrini? Or like maybe Laine Hudson plus something else for Macklin Celebrini?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
Wow. Interesting.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it.
So you're that big of a Hudson respecter that you wouldn't trade him for...
Nope.
Wow.
Because I like what he brings to the back end of that defense, and he's only going to get better. And look, I know he's won Rookie of the Year, and we're in now mode. Like we all saw what happened last year, biased. But you're making your team weaker on the back end now.
I don't know, dude. That's a tough one, man. Celebrini?
I'm not doing it. I'm not. If I'm not doing it. Like, I'm putting my foot down on this. Like, I'm not doing it. Like, I love Celebrini. I love the kid. Like, don't get me wrong. He set rookie records. Not what I'm in as a freshman in BU, won a Hobie Baker and all that. In this league, you can't outscore your problems.
At one moment, you talk, Marcus, because this is a great question, Celebrini for Laine Hudson. But right now, next year, 2 years, 3 years, or
so let's say your scenario plays out, Coach. San Jose wins the lottery, right? So they're like, holy shit, like we could be drafting McKenna right now. Like, we need to diversify our candidate pool. If you're Ken Hughes, you call them and say, I have a defenseman, but and I need a centerman. Montreal has a lot of depth. Like, so again, you're going to lose some of that offensive upside, but you do have Dobson. You just got Dobson. You have tons of depth on the left side. And listen, I'm not trying to I love Laine Hudson. He's like the most exciting Hab that I've seen in my lifetime, right? So I'm not saying I want to trade Laine Hudson, but that's a tough one. Like, in the scenario you put together here, Coach, where San Jose...
Oh, it's not a tough one, Marko.
It's not for you, right? Like, so
it's
you're
not a tough one.
Okay, well, here, let me reframe it then, guys. Let me reframe this. Okay?
No, it's not a tough one. I'm on your side. I trade him right away. I would not. I would not. I would just thank you. Yes. Listen, Celebrini will be better at Nick Suzuki at some point.
For sure.
And
for sure.
Yes, I love Laine Hudson, but you have better chance to pick up better a complete defenseman, Laine Hudson, balance on the both sides of the game, I think will be. But you talk about an exceptional player is going to be that level. I think for me, I go with Sidney Biringer right away.
Yeah. That's a tough one though. It's an emotional discussion. Like I see,
You see,
Jim's
like
not even a Habs.
PS will come
Jim's
back
not
in the
even a
house,
Habs
but
fan,
Peter
and he's
August said
struggling with
not allowed. Marko too many Anakin, and then A2 said not defense is nothing without Hudson.
Yeah, I can see Jim is torn. He's not even a Habs fan, and he's like wincing at the possibility of trading Laine Hudson. Man, he's like, even in his rocking chair, he can't lull himself to calmness with it. No, I get it, man. It's a tough one.
It's a tough decision. Look, teams we've seen it, like we just saw, but like as much as San Jose would need a defenseman like that, I don't know if they're giving up.
Yeah.
That, I mean, if you had McKenna,
no,
okay.
You're not going. I'll be honest with you, Jim. If I San Jose, I would not give my best player because I think for all the players we talk, Sidney Biringer is the best player versus Smith, Misa, and McKenna.
But McKenna, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You don't think McKenna's going to be better?
I mean, McKenna's going to be good. Let's pump the brakes a little bit on this generational talent talk.
Marko, if you trade McKenna if you trade Sidney Biringer, you have to trade to get better at Laine Hudson.
Yeah, so I
know
agree.
It's stupid to say that. Like people say, "Come on, Laine Hudson." You have
Montreal
to be better at Laine Hudson.
You'd have if you're Montreal, you have to do Hudson plus, right? Like you might have to do Laine Hudson, Beck, and something maybe because I think asset wise, like I think, but like from a fit perspective, if you're just looking at kind of the supply versus demand, for each team, like like it's there, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Did you read the comments of Billy?
Yeah, I did. I said it. I saw it.
That's a good one.
That's our job, Billy. Our job is to make you think and to stress out a little bit. But it's not going to happen
tonight.
And by the way, to answer the question on the clash, I don't think Toronto's winning division.
Toronto won the Atlantic Division, Marko. If not, which team?
I don't think it's going to be Florida. I don't think they're going to.
I'm going to say yes. I think it's going to be between either Tampa or Toronto, but I'm leaning kind of Tampa right now.
I took last night at the show of the Cat and Rat. I took Tampa. I think Tampa have the most complete team right now versus Toronto.
Really?
Toronto's definitely going to take a step. They're going to take a step back for sure, points wise. They're definitely going to take a step.
The big question about Toronto is how they're going to what they're going to do without Marner. It's not they're not going to be bad, but how they're going to reframe the play.
I think it's going to be fine.
Without Marner.
I think they're going to be.
And I think they're missing a top 6 player there.
They're going to be a very good defensive team. Berube has already been kind of working that out. Really, the only thing though is that if we were talking about Dach staying healthy or whatever, like Matthews needs to stay healthy, right? Like he's had his share of concerns, and in the past we saw with them that when Matthews went down, Marner would come in and like really kind of carry the team. They don't have that luxury anymore, right? So for whatever reason, if Matthews isn't healthy, that's where I get nervous. But if Matthews is healthy, I see them winning the division. Like I think they added some depth. Michelli, I think, is good for 55, 60 points. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be a very different team. They're going to lock teams down. They have great goaltending. So I would pick them to win the Atlantic.
Well, both guys got to stay healthy too.
Yeah.
Good point about N26. Matthews will miss Marner like Brett Hall missed Adam Oates.
I don't believe that for a minute. Like Matthews can create his own. Like Brett Hall was a guy, like he's almost down on one knee waiting to do a one-timer. Didn't create his shots as much. Matthews can create his own shots. Not saying like he's not going to miss them at all. Like Marner.
Well, that wrist and back better be better. for him
Yeah,
to create his own
for
shots.
sure. Yeah.
Great point
Yes,
about that.
again,
Another thing we said to you, now you take a winger versus a center, Marco, a center versus winger. Does it make sense? Like a winger is bet out, he had to be feed. Manor is a center, doesn't have to be feed like a winger. So
not
for
all.
me,
But
Matthews
isn't
will not
Matthews a
miss too
center?
much. Manor versus Hall miss Adam
Yeah.
Oates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just think that Matthews, again, if you look at the underlying numbers, like he creates his own opportunities just as much. He wins. He's elite on puck battles, like on steals, like all like he's just a good complete player. But JB, you're right. Like he's got like his wrist, like his German freak scientist hopefully put him back together over the summer. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Yeah.
Marco, what are you looking for this upcoming week, the camp on the Montreal Canadiens? Until we see you, honestly, live, you're going to see 2 games for the Montreal Canadiens next Monday and Tuesday. So what are you looking for?
Well, tomorrow I think is going to be huge, Coach. Like everything we've been kind of projecting and talking about, I think we're going to start to get at least some answers here. We're going to see some players on the ice. We're going to see some line combinations. So I'm super stoked. It's too bad I have a day job because I would just be on Twitter all day waiting and observing. But so I'm going to definitely be checking it out. I'll be tuning in to see what you have to say about it tomorrow. But we're getting into camp. JB, thanks so much for joining Hump Day today, man. It's hope to have you on our Wednesday show a lot. Always fun working with you, man. It's lots of fun.
No, it was fun. It was fun for sure. I thank for Coach for having me back after I missed Monday night. Got caught up with some things around the NHL that day. It was a busy day for a lot of people. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the camps, the combinations, see what Tom Fitzgerald has to say about Luke Hughes and that extension that isn't there yet. And it's going to be interesting to see preseason action this weekend and what these teams do.
One thing before you leave, Jim, the situation with Luke Hughes. Any update?
There's no contract in place. They're still working on it, grinding away at it. He will not be at camp right now. The hope is to get him signed before the first game, which is Sunday. That's kind of looking doubtful too. But you hope that he doesn't miss too much time of camp because he can ill afford to do that. And the Devils can ill afford to hold the number one their best defenseman out of camp.
Awesome. Marco, thanks to stress out everybody in the chat tonight. We appreciate that. Mr. Jim, thanks so much, both of you. I will finish like we do. I can reach you next week, Monday night, Jim and Marco. Guys, another great night of them with the Hockey Nation tonight. What a great night we got. Fun to talk with people like Marco and Jim, the way they bring some knowledge about hockey. But hopefully you enjoyed the show tonight. We want to thank Moderator Ron with Kings. Again, Algie Calabo, the news and update. All of you click on the likes. We're really kind of you to do that. And a 3 super chat tonight. We appreciate a lot. Constant did it. Frank Santoro did it for the Hockey Nation. And Rick Robitaille also did it. Many of you have a great conversation in the chat. And the only reason we're getting close to the 10,000, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. We're going to finish without the music, but we want also to remind you we'll be back tonight for the Montreal Canadiens Day 2 of the training camp. I'll be live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't forget, at the end of the month, we have the Prospect Down. It's going to be us with Marko for the special show of the upcoming season 2025 and 2026. And of course, be well, BL. Find a way not only to dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second half of what? Someone will said 2025. Until the next time, my friend, the Hockey Nation, the Habs Nation, and all the animals in the jungle of Thailand want to tell you one more thing. We love you, friends. Good night, everybody. See you next time. And thanks for being with a part of the special Hockey Nation fans every single night between 8:30 p.m. and until Sometime 10:30, sometime 10:45. He all knows. Peter August, thanks so much. Maurice, thank you. LDP, Roy, Mark Elliott, thanks so much. N26, always a pleasure. PLW, ciao, my friend. See you. And we're going to try to do a Blue Jays game maybe Friday night. We're going to see what we look like. Until next time, my friend, have a great night. And of course, booyah!